Yes, we are live. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir al-amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Thank you so much for joining me. Good evening, everyone. Each time we start the session, it's time for Isha, but it's okay. I'll just wait a little bit for the adhan to be called and we'll continue, inshallah. Yes, so sorry about that. We are live and we're going to go on without wasting time. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, and in today's live session, we're going to be talking about raising outstanding, righteous children in today's world, right? I didn't just say raising righteous children, raising outstanding, righteous children in today's world. What does that mean? Today in session, we're going to be talking about, how to raise children who are not only successful academically, who are not just successful socially, but who are deeply grounded in righteousness, right? Who have very good character and faith. If you look at this topic very well, something, is something that is closely related to our theme or to the Muslim Parenting Conference theme for this year, right? And, I just decided to choose because, yes, it's TMPC month. So why not if not, right? So today, that's what we're going to be talking about. Please, before we go on, please kindly reshare this link, reshare, this flyer. Let other parents also come and benefit from this session, right? Please share it with them. Don't forget that when our homes are better, the community is going to be better and the home is going to be better at large, right? So please, let's try as much as possible to share this far and wide and let other parents come and benefit from this session, right? It's going to be, a short session, inshallah, but then, of course, it's going to be beneficial. So please kindly share this and let other parents also come and join us on this session, right? Many parents see raising righteous children as isolating them from the world. That's one thing that so many parents think of. They feel like, okay, yes, the world is dangerous, the world is corrupt, and things like that. So they try as much as possible to isolate their children, not to mix with other people who they see as not righteous, right? So, but we need to understand that our children can be shielded by us forever. We can't shield them. Even if, we're now in that world whereby, even without stepping out of our house, without them going out of, our house, the comfort of our house, they can actually be influenced. They can be influenced from the TV shows they watch, from social media handles and all of those things. So we need to understand that our children can be shielded by us forever. Because no matter how long we isolate them, they will finally be launched into the world. They will definitely be launched into the world, irrespective of the age that we're going to be launching them. They will definitely go out there. And the most interesting thing about, this thing is that if we isolate them from their physical environment, we can't possibly isolate them from the online space. We can't, because a time will come when we'll feel that, okay, yes, this child is old enough, right? I'm saying old enough because I wouldn't know our definition of old enough, and we want to give them a device. Maybe at most we say that, okay, even if I'm not going to give you throughout, maybe when you are 18 years, which we tag as being an adult, we want to give them. So what happens by that time? Even if they are not stepping outside of the home, they definitely have something. They have something whereby they can. I tell people that the moment you give your children a phone with internet connection, that it is just giving your children www, World Wide Web, is everything. Your child can have access to everything at all, no matter what you think that, okay, I think you will not have access to this. They can have access to anything at all, as far as they have a phone with internet connection. So we can't possibly isolate them from the online space. It's something they will have access to, especially if we haven't put the necessary things in place, right? So it is not about, my point is, it's not about isolating our children. No. For the fact that we want to raise them to be righteous does not mean that we should isolate them. Let us expose them, because from their exposure, there are lots of things that they are going to learn. However, let us make sure that we put the necessary things in place. So instead of shielding our children from, from the world, from their environment, or not even allowing them to mix with people, it is better to equip them with the things that they actually need to lead a righteous life, both in our presence and when we are not even there. If you've been listening to me very well, I always tell people that if in everything that you do, whatever the parenting style that you have adopted, if all that you are doing is that your children are just able to listen to you when you are around, when they can see you, or when they can see an adult around, when they are within, when they are within the confines of the home, if what your parenting style is doing is just for them to, to perform, like I always say, then you have failed. Because what happens when you are no longer there? It means that they can do anything. So they are not yet in that place whereby they understand the concept of not doing something is wrong. The only thing they understand is that mommy does not want us to do this, or daddy does not want us to do this. So instead of shielding our children, instead of isolating them, it's better to equip them with the things that they actually need to lead that righteous life that we want, right? Both when we are there or when we are not there. So in this session, as we proceed, the first question that we need to reflect on, that we need to ask ourselves is, what is exactly the definition of a righteous child? What is our definition of a righteous child? What does it mean when we say that we want to raise righteous children? Children who are religious, or children who have good characters, children who are morally upright. What is our definition? Because it is from our definition that we'll be able to say that, okay, yes, this is what I want to see in my children, and this is how I am going to give it to them. This is how they are going to get these things, right? So we want to start asking, is it a child who prays Salah when you are present only? Or a child who is able to pray Salah even in your absence? Are we raising children who memorize the Quran, who have various narration of their hadith in their head, but they are not living up to all of these things? Is that what righteousness really means? Because we are now in the day, because, there's already an hadith of the Rasul that says that a time will come when so many people will be memorizers of the Quran, but they do not practice whatever it is that is in that Quran. And that's that time that we are now. We have so many ufad. We have so many people that have memorized the Quran. We have so many people that have memorized the hadith. But then we want to look at it. Are they living that life of the Quran? Are they living that light of whatever it is that they have learned or that they have memorized? These are the questions we want to start asking ourselves. So when we're thinking of righteousness, what are the things that we're actually thinking of? So are we just thinking of raising children who will be able to fast, or who will be able, who are fasting and we feel that they are fasting, and at the back they are eating something? Do you understand? So we need to be in that place whereby we understand that raising righteous children is not just about our children memorizing the Quran. Yes, it is important. Raising righteous children does not just mean that our children are praying the 5 daily salawat, right? It means that they are praying, they understand why they are doing all of these things. Is it a child who has a Muslim name or come from a Muslim home? Is that what it means to be righteous? We have gotten to that stage whereby you see so many Muslim, like I always say that the social media has actually brought so many things to us. It has make us to see how things are actually going on. So you will see people who tell you that they are half dressed, they are half naked, and they will tell you, I know it now, I was born in a Muslim home. Don't you know my name? They even brag in all of these things. My name is Aisha, my name is Maria, my name is Rukoya, and things like that. So, and the things that they do not actually show that they are Muslims. Some even go as far as saying that, what do you mean? Alaji and mommy me now. Alaji and daddy me now. All of those things, are these the things that we want to, continue to do? Are these the results that we want to continue to see? So it is important for us to know that it is not just about raising children who have all of these things, or it's not just about giving our children a Muslim name. It is about walking the talk. So in today's session, we will explore the real challenges children face today, ranging from distraction, identity confusion, peer pressure, moral decadence, and provide practical heart-centered strategies to guide them with confidence, because it is important for us to be able to guide them, to guide them in confidence, because that is when they will be able to, if children are doing the things that they are expected to do, even if they feel that, okay, yes, I'm doing this thing for the sake of Allah, if they are not confident enough to say that I am going to stand my ground, when something comes to shake them, when there is peer influence, they will definitely shake, they will move. So it's not just enough for us to raise children who are righteous. I have worked with a boss before who, is a public speaker, is a very, is very well to do, in the sense that he speaks so well, and he has this ikma of talking about various topics brilliantly. And each time he shares with me, whenever it is that he talks, people say things like, really, you are a Muslim? How come you're so good? And he will tell them, excuse me, I am so good because I'm a Muslim. It's not the other way around. I am so good because I'm a Muslim, because we have seen ourselves in that situation. People we have been painted in a way that they feel that once you are Muslim, you can't be outstanding, you can't be excellent. And that's why I made that topic, raising outstanding righteous children in today's world, because it is something that is doable. And as a matter of fact, we should pride in this so much, because our role model is someone who exudes excellence, who has excellence all around. But then, if we do not put the necessary things in place, if we have a wrong definition and a wrong perspective of having righteous children, then we'll definitely get it wrong with our children. And that's why it is necessary for us to think about what are those things that we need to put in place. We need to know that raising righteous children goes beyond them memorizing the Quran. Yes, it goes beyond that. It is important. It is very important. But what is more important, if there will be no punishment for not memorizing the whole of the Quran. However, there's going to be punishment for us if we do not live the life of the Quran. Yes. This is something that we already know. So it's better for us. Yes, memorization can come, but then we need to raise children who are actually going to live the life of whatever it is that they have memorized, who are definitely going to exhume it. Because just like we'll always say, that what people will come in contact with is not the book. They will not read the book. They will come in contact with us. The way we relate to them, the way we speak to them, that's what they will say, and that's what they will say Islam is, right? So we need to know that raising children goes far beyond that. Is far beyond coming from a Muslim home. Is far beyond saying that, hey, my parents are, they've gone for Hajj, they're allergic. It's far beyond just wearing the hijab. We have seen so many people, so many children, whereby they go home, they use the hijab, and you feel like, mashallah, these children are good, they are well raised and all of that. And the moment they go to school, the moment they have that, they taste that freedom, what happens? They live completely opposite what they've been living in the past. That is to tell us that children do not really understand what they are practicing. They are just doing all of these things because they want to be in that space whereby they just avoid trouble because they're under us. So the moment they have that freedom, what happens? They totally change. Things totally turn around. So it is important for us to know that it's not just about that. It's about making sure that these kids understand the rudiment of the religion. They understand the rudiment of being righteous, really. It's about living the life of the Quran. It's about helping children understand why they do what they do. And that's why children are born curious, right? They are born curious. They are born upon fitra. They would definitely ask questions. And that's to tell us that no matter what we do, but what happens is that as parents, we shut them up a lot. We feel that they should know, which is not something that is possible. And that's why we always say that if your children are asking questions, just thank God and be in that place where you are grateful that they are bringing those questions to you. Because if they don't bring it to you, they will probably take it to people who are going to provide them the wrong answers, right? So What they do is, what we need to know that it's about living the life of the Quran. We need to know that it's about helping our children to understand why they do what they do. Intentionally creating our own systems, structures, and environments as a Muslim community. It is so saddening. This is something that is very, very popular. It's so saddening that the people you see, online, that are committing lots of atrocities, women dressing like men, mostly men dressing like women, these people are mostly Muslims. If you hear their names, you know that, yes, these people came from a Muslim background. They were given birth to by Muslim parents. But what happens if we have a culture, or if you have a house whereby you do not live that life of being Muslims, you do not live that life of Islam, and it's not just about living it and teaching it to your children, intentionally teaching it, creating your own systems. Because if you do not create your own systems, if you do not create your own structure and environment as a Muslim community, if we do not have that, our own system there, other people will create that. And what happens? Well, if they don't have something to emulate, they emulate what is available. And that's the same thing that happens even when children leave the home and they go to school. Number one, they do not understand whatever it is that they've been doing. They were not, yes, they were seeing their parents. Yes, we often say that children would imitate you. When you pray Salah, they want to pray Salah with you. But there will be certain stages, they will get to certain stages in their life where you need to explain to them why they are doing certain things. Because if you do not explain to them, they will not know the reason why they do it. And when that time comes, when something comes to shake them, what happens? They leave whatever it is that they have been doing. So it's about refusing to be mediocre. You see, when we're talking about raising righteous children, a lot of the time we want to see it as, this one is different from this. And that's where you see people say things like deen over dunya. I tell people, if we're in that place where we're saying deen over dunya, it means that we are sounding like whatever it is that we're doing in terms of dunya does not relate with our deen. And that's why we constantly see people, say things like that. But then when we understand that even our dunya, living our life should be based on the deen itself, then we will not look for it. We will not see it as trying to balance it. We'll see whatever it is that we do as part of Islam already, irrespective of, whatever it is that we're doing. We'll see it as, okay, yes, whatever it is that I'm doing in my dunya, I'm doing it for my akhirah. So we don't need to start finding, okay, let me try to balance it. Think about it. Everything and anything that you do, if you do it with the right intention, you should be doing it for the sake of Allah. You should be doing it for that ultimate goal of attaining Jannah. Think about it. As Muslims, when we get married, it's completing half of our deen. So why should you see it as things of dunya, things of the worldly life? But when we see it as this thing is together and it's for the main purpose of attaining Jannah, then whatever it is that we do, even in this life, we'll do it with utmost excellence. Utmost excellence. Right? So it's about refusing to be mediocre. It is about refusing to be mediocre. We should not tolerate mediocrity as Muslims because we are people of excellence. It's about doing everything that we do, doing it with excellence, with intentionality, and walking the talk as a ummah. You see, a lot of the time, people just complain, have you seen this? This is what is happening. This is what is happening. Then we do not even try to create things to actually combat those things. And even people who try to create, we do not get like the support, the desired support, because we see it as it's not something, it's not something that affects me. But then it does affect us because we're all raising our children in this environment. So raising righteous children, it embodies everything that we do in this life. You are sending them to school. Do it with the right intention and do it excellently. Because it is when you do it excellently, that's when your children will be able to feel the tangibility of whatever it is that you are doing. So in everything that we do, we shouldn't be in that space whereby, yes, for women, it's easy because when they see us on hijab, they know that we are Muslims. But for men, if they dress a certain way, they don't know that they are Muslims. So when they come out excellently and at the end of the day, they get to know that you're a Muslim, they'll be like, really? You're a Muslim? How are you able to do this? We need to let them know that it is the fact that we are Muslims. That's why we are able to do the things excellently. The fact, and we need to let them know that if we are not Muslims, then we won't be able to do things excellently like we do it. We will be able to show up where we're supposed to show up, and we'll show up right. So it is still part of raising righteous children, because the truth is we don't want to raise children who are going to doubt our faith. Do you know what that means? Yes, you're a Muslim, you are doing everything, but then things are not even going, at all the way it should go. And by the way, it's not a matter of, yes, this is, it's qadar. We need to know that man gets what he strives for. This is a promise from Allah that whatever it is that we strive for, we get it. Whatever it is that we strive for, we get it. So we don't want to live in a way that our children will start doubting whatever it is. Do you know that some children grow up not being proud of their parents? They can't even say, that's my mom. When I was in secondary school, in the boarding school back then, we knew of parents who came to visit their children in school, and their children are saying, just because of the way they appear, yes, as Muslims, they are saying that their parents are their mates, their moms are their mates, because they are not proud of their children. And I've said it constantly here that raising children of this generation is different from raising us. So you don't want to be in that place whereby you want to say, I want to be proud of my children. I want to be proud of my children. You need to live your life in a way that even your children will be proud of you. This is something that is very important. That is part of raising righteous children. So it all boils down to whatever it is that we do. It all starts from we being the role model, being the model, setting the right examples. So when we intentionally walk the talk, as parents, a lot of the time we want to come from that place. We want our children to be righteous. We want them to do this. We want them to do that. But then, yes, we are righteous. But then our children, are they proud of us? Will they be able to say that, yes, I feel the fact that, yes, mom has this religion and it's something that is really helping them. So we want to intentionally walk the talk. It's about building systems and structures that helps us to actually raise righteous children and staying consistent with it. Because Allah is one of consistency. Right? If we look at our religion, we would see that it is created with systems and structures. This is something that I often say. And if there's anything at all that you want to work, you need to create systems and structure for it. Look at it. I often tell people that you can imagine a situation whereby Allah has just told us, just come to this world and come and serve me, without giving us guidelines of even serving him. What do you think is going to happen? Everyone is just going to be doing whatever it is that they like. Even with the fact that we have this system and structure, some people are still deviating. Let's now think of not even having these systems and structure. Part of the system and structure is giving us that 5 pillars of Islam. That if you do this, then Jannah is guaranteed. Part of having system and structure is giving us that article of faith. Part of building system and structures is actually, being in that place whereby we can say that, okay, yes, we have the Quran as our principle. We have the Quran as our guide. And it's something that is helping us. But the moment we do not have all of these things, the moment we do not have the system, you see, if there's anything that you are doing and you become successful at it, if you can't replicate it, if your children can't replicate it, then you have not really been successful in that part. Whatever it is that you are doing must be clear enough that your children are able to replicate it. They are able to see it as, okay, yes, these are the things that my parent did, and I'm going to follow that footstep for me to be able to get to wherever it is that I am going. So Allah is one of systems and structures, and he has given us. And we as human, we can actually be in that place whereby we'll recreate whatever it is that we have. Just for us to be able to get whatever it is that we want. Just for us to be able to raise those righteous children. We're going to talk about the things, few things that we need to put in place for us to be able to make sure, yes, we can, I know that maybe I'm speaking to a group of parents who pray, who perform salah, who do all of these things. And a lot of the time, people come to the conclusion of, Ọlọ́run ló ń wò ọmọ, because maybe whatever it is that they are doing as parents, they are praying, they are, they are fasting, they are doing all of those things. Their parents are not doing, their children are not doing it, sorry. And we often come to that conclusion of, it is not by anybody's power. It is this, yes, it is not by anybody's power. It is, it is by Allah's power. But then we can also do our part. We can do our part to the extent that we will say that, yes, I did my part. I didn't know what to do during this period, and I sought the needed knowledge, and I was able to do it. This is something we want to be able to say. But the problem that we have is that as Muslim parents, we find it very difficult to invest in knowledge. We want everything free of charge. Yes, this is something that, this is something that I've lingered for long. But for me, who have been there and who have been at the other side, I know that we can't get everything for free. I've also been in that place whereby I was relying so much on free resources, but there's a limit to which whatever it is that you get for free, there's a limit to which it's going to take you. It will not take you to that part whereby you actually get the desired results. Because found out that it's not just about getting the knowledge, it's about implementing whatever it is that you have learned to actually get the desired result, to get the results that we want. So nurturing our children, or, we find it very difficult to invest in that knowledge. To invest in it, we find it difficult to invest in knowledge. We find it difficult to even read. These are the things that will actually help us to become what exactly we want to become. So when we talk about raising righteous children, we need to first of all be in that place whereby we model it. Because if we do not model it, then how do our children even take it from us? So it is an attitude that we need to think about, and we need to change it if we actually want things to change. If we don't want to be in that place whereby the only thing that we do is that we're complaining about it. Yes, this has happened today. Yes, a Muslim did this. We saw this, several things like that. I will even see, this is something that it can be very saddening of parents. Parents are even the one doing, the whole of the dance, the whole of challenges on TikTok, and their children are picking all of these things from them. They are picking it from them. This is something we want to think about, and this is something we want to correct. So we don't want to be in that place. It's not just, yes, our faith, we should hold on to our pillars, of Islam, but then we should be able to go that extra mile of combating the problem that we have instead of just complaining about it. So we need to put that attitude of not wanting to invest in knowledge. We need to put it down. And one thing about it is that if we do not put in place the things that we actually need, unfortunately, the world will dictate everything for us, ranging from the school that our children go. So it is not enough. Yes, we need to be in that place whereby we're teaching the right thing. But then what other things? How can we go extra miles to make sure that every other person is being impacted by whatever it is that we know, or whatever it is that we have in our hands that is working for us? What other things do we need to put in place? If we do not put it in place, a lot of the time we have heard, when we're discussing sex education, we've heard so many things, LGBTQ and all of those things. We have it. We've heard about Spider-Man being gay and all of those things. But the question is, if we do not create what is going to suit our own values, these people will keep creating what they have, and they are going to be shoving it down our throats. And even if we are in that place whereby we understand that, okay, no, these things are not right and we're not going to be doing it, our children are in that place whereby they do not understand. Their brain is not developed enough to understand right from wrong. And that's why children are always the predators. They are always the ones that the predators are running after. So we need to understand that if we don't intentionally create what works for us, what works for our values, what works for our religion, other people will create it for us. They will dictate the schools that our children should go. They will dictate the TV programs that our children should watch. They will dictate the literatures that our children should read. So it is now left to us to step up into that. It's not just, when we talk about, being in that place of success, we need to understand that it is not just about, us. It's about whatever it is that we do, being able to impact it in other people so that they can also benefit from whatever it is that we have. And the truth about the whole of these things is that the world and everything that is in it is for the people who are bold and who are brave. The people who are able to announce whatever it is that they have, even if it is good or bad. They will listen to it. So we don't want to be in that place whereby we are quiet. Let us start from the places that we can even influence. Because if we do not begin to take action, the challenges that our children face, they are real. Challenges of the things that they watch, challenges of the, gender distortion, confusion, peer influence, and lots of distraction. So raising righteous children, yes, they're in that place whereby they pray Salah, they do whatever it is that they're supposed to do. They are reading the Quran, they are memorizing the Quran, and key points, they are able to influence positively. A lot of the time when parents come and complain things like, these children are being influenced negatively, the question is, have you raised your children to be able to influence positively also? Because this is part of raising righteous children. Your children should be able to make positive change in whatever it is that they have, in whatever it is that they do. That is part of raising righteous children. That is when whatever it is that we've given to them, no one is going to take it away from them. So if we're talking about peer influence, are we raising our children to lead? Or we're just raising them to follow? Because if we're not raising them to lead, we are definitely raising them to follow. And if we're raising them to follow, who did they follow? Whoever that is the leader. So we need to think about putting things in place that will actually that will not make whatever it is that we're giving to our children at home, that will not make them lose it when they get outside there in the world. So you want to be in that place whereby it's not just about your child knowing for themselves, but it's about being in that place whereby they are able to lead their peers. It's about when we want to start talking about these children are now influencing positively. That is going to be the joy. Because that is when whatever it is that they have that is positive with them will not be taken away from them. They are raised in a world whereby there are lots of distractions. They can't even focus. There's phone, there's everything there. But are we in that place whereby we're raising our children to be able to influence positively? Are we in that place whereby they are able to have that peer influence that is positive and they are not the one falling into that negative peer influence? We want to think about all of these things. And the sad thing about it is that we oftentimes as Muslim parents, we leave all of these things to chance. And we come and say things like, it's Qadar, it's destiny. That's how Allah has destined it. Forgetting that Allah has promised us that we get whatever it is that we strive for. If we strive for it, we will get it. So we want to start having that reflective question of, as a parent, what have you put into your process? Are you just raising your children each day as it comes? As a matter of fact, children are not being parented. They're just growing under our roof. Yes, we have and that's why we don't have so many people that are taking nurturing children seriously. Children are just growing under their roof. They're just growing. Thinking maybe we have that thought that they will just pick all the lessons. They will pick it. At least they are seeing me. They will just pick it. A stage will come whereby you need to intentionally sit your children down to teach them. So you want to ask yourself, what have you put in your processes? It's not enough for you to just model it. While that is very, very important, it's enough. Another thing that is important is that you actually put some things into your processes. What have you done as a parent? You want to ask yourself, what exactly have I done as a parent? Before you start blaming that child, before you start judging them, before you start criticizing them, you want to ask yourself, what have I done as a parent? What have you created for people to consume? Because we are mostly in that place whereby we are the one consuming without creating. We're just consuming. And that's why we'll scroll social media, we'll scroll everything without even putting, even if it is our own 1% there, for people to benefit from. We're just consuming. We're always consuming. So we want to ask ourselves, what exactly have you created for people to consume? Are you just a consumer or you are just a producer? Because if you're in that place whereby you are teaching your children the right values, you are saying these things, and the people next door are not benefiting from it, they will be the bad influence for your children. So we want to think about it. How have you contributed to the betterment of the environment that you raise your children? We have lots of people that were just, yes, we are educated. And the truth about this thing is, what our children are going to learn, the ABC, the 1, 2, 3 that they are going to learn in school, it's not as if we can't teach it. But then let's even say that these are our partners in raising our children. Ask yourself, what positive influence have I contributed in the school of my children? We are people who, we have outsourced it. We have outsourced raising our children, nurturing our children to the school, and we do not even contribute a bit. Have we even gone far to tell, the owner of the school, what else can we teach our children? What else can we talk to our children about whatever it is that is going on, so that they are also aware of it? As an intentional parent, you are not just going to sit at the back and just watch things, unfold. You need to contribute. If you are not contributing, you are doing the other way. You might not be doing, but it's just like if you are not supporting, you are definitely opposing. So while we are modeling all that we want to model, we need to be in that place whereby the little that we can contribute in our children's school, in our children's madrasa, whatever knowledge that we're getting, is not just for us to use in our own. It's not just for us to keep to ourselves. Let us share it to other parents. Let us tell them about it. Let us take it to the schools of our children. That is how we're able to influence the environment that our children are growing. So you want to ask yourself these questions. How have I contributed to the betterment of the environment that I am raising my children? How have I contributed to it? Because the environment is very, very important than the value system. It's just like putting a glass of water in a freezer. No matter how hot that glass of water is, no matter how hot that bowl of water is, the moment you put it in the freezer, it's going to turn, give it time. It's going to turn block. So no matter how hot you have taught your values to your children, no matter how hot you have raised your children to be righteous, no matter what you have taught your children, if you expose them to a negative environment, they are going to take everything there. It's just as simple as that. No matter how hot that bowl of water is, the moment you put it in the freezer, it's going to turn block. Just give it time, that's all. So what are you doing exactly in the environment that you put your children in? What are you doing? Are you just quiet? Is it just, I've paid and the rest is just for you? It's so sad. As a parent in a school, how have you contributed to your child's second home? Because that is their second home. And we need to know that nothing will change. Nothing exactly will change in our society if we do not be in that place whereby we put whatever it is that we have the ability of putting, our own 1%, our own 2%, we put it in whatever it is that is around our children. This is something that is important. So in our own capacity, we do not begin to make a change in that place that we can control. Yes, we can't control the government. Yes, we can't control the government. But then we are the government in our own home. We can control the places that we take our children to. We can contribute to the places that we take our children to. Have we even tried to say, okay, let me just walk up to the ustaz of, my children's madrasa and say that this topic is something I want to even discuss among parents so that they also become aware of the things that they need to expose their children to. Because don't forget, if we do not do it, the environment will definitely do it for us. We need to know that yes, our prayer will work. We are people of prayer, like we always say. But the question is, what are we doing? Are we tying our own camel? If we are tying our camel, what are we using to tie our camel? What are we using to tie our camel? Is it okongede? That once the camel moves a little bit and tries to shake a little bit, then it's going to go. We need to know that effort is important. And that's why, Maryam, the mother of Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, when she gave birth to Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, what happens? There was a revelation for her that she should shake the date tree. Allah has that capability. Allah has that capacity for the date fruits to fall and just for her to pick it. But Allah said that she should shake it. That is to tell us that whatever it is that we want to get, we need to put our own effort first before we get whatever it is that we want to get. A lot of the time, we hide under the fact that there's nothing Allah cannot do. Allah can change the other. Yes, there's nothing Allah cannot do. But there are so many things that Allah will not do. Because we need to play our own part as parents. We need to play our own part as parents. We cannot raise children who, at the end of the day, have memorized the entire Quran, have memorized the entire Hadith, but they can't even teach it. They can't even be in that place whereby they impact other people with their knowledge. That's not raising children who are outstandingly righteous. That's not. What is the benefit of what children have learned, and they can't, first of all, make use of it and make other benefit from it? So we want to think about all of these things. Our prayers will work. However, our actions will be visible enough for the change that we desire. I'll say that again. Our prayers will work. However, our actions will be visible enough for the change that we desire. So we need to be in that place whereby we create. You see, I was sometimes last year, I actually saw a curriculum. I saw a curriculum of pedophiles. That is to tell us that the people that are hunting for our children, they are going for trainings. They are going to learn how to take charge. So what happens if the people that are perpetrating evil, if they are in that place whereby they can go out to learn about it, to pay for it and learn about it? What happens to those of us that are teaching the right things? What happens to those of us that are preaching the right things? What happens when we are quiet? Our information, whatever it is that we want to pass across is not out there. So if they can go that extra mile, what happens to us that are trying to teach the right things? So we need to know that we need to create the right strategy. We need to be in that place where we are creating as Muslims. Because if we do not, whatever it is that is being created is what we will consume. That is what our children are also going to consume. Another thing is that we need to embrace excellence. Excellence in all that we do, in everything that we do, irrespective of what you do. Yes, you are a fashion designer. You are somebody who sells food. You are someone who sells something. Everything that we do, we need to show excellence, because that's what our religion is. Right? So we need to embrace excellence in all that we do. Righteousness does not mean mediocrity. This is something that we need to know. For the fact that we want to raise children who are righteous does not mean that they become mediocre. As a matter of fact, it is opposite, which is excellence. So righteousness also means that whatever it is that we're doing it with excellence. When you raise mediocre, you tell them that the religion doesn't preach excellence. That's just the truth. If you're in that place whereby the only thing you want to do is that just leave this, just do it anyhow, just do it the way that you want to do it. We're not actually teaching them to actually be righteous. So we need to raise children who are able to create something who can also influence the world, who can also impact their world. It is something that is very important, because if we do not occupy spaces whereby we can influence things, those who are there would be in that position to put out something there that will influence us. And what do? We are going to bow for it. We are going to accept it. So how do we now begin to raise outstanding righteous children? Abu Hurairah reported that Allah's messenger, peace be upon him, said that no child is born but upon fitra, a pure natural state of goodness, curiosity, and connection to Allah. That is to tell us that, you see, we always find ourselves in that place where we say, yes, Allah alone, woman, it's God that watches over children. But Allah has done his own part. Yes, Allah has done his part. And that's why it is said that no child is born except upon fitra. No child at all is born. And that's one of, it's still very similar to telling you that no child was given to us damage. No child at all was given to us damage. Allah has given us our children. They are upon fitra. They are upon that natural inclination to Allah. They have been given to us. But it is the parents who actually make him Jew or make him Christian or whatever it is, or make him a polytheist. So think about it. So the moment we want to say something like Allah alone, woman, we should know that it is not alone. Allah has said it already, that he has created every child upon fitra. It is now the parents that actually make that child a Jew, a Christian, or a polytheist. Whatever it is that our children become, it is in our hands as parents. That hadith is enough to tell us that our children has been given that natural inclination towards Allah, towards connecting to Allah. That pure nature, that natural state towards inclining to Islam. It is now in the hands of the parents. So if we want to make that statement again, that it is true, Allah has actually given us children that are righteous. Whatever it is that they become is in our hands. So we need to do the work before we come to that conclusion that this is how, yes, the qadar is there. I'm not disputing it, but we need to do the work. We need to do the work in such a way that when we are being asked, we can be able to say, yes, these are the things that I did. These are the things that I did. Because, of course, if we are not reflecting ourselves, if we are not asking ourselves questions, we will definitely go and answer to the questions that Allah will ask us, because we are already shepherds and Allah has given us this laws to shepherd them. So we need to know that children are already on that right path. They are already on that righteousness. But whatever it is that they become is in our hands as parents. So the moment we ponder on this hadith, we would remember and we will know that, okay, yes, what are the things that I need to do? What are the things that I need to put in place? Because it's of course, it's in my hand. Allah has done his own part. So while we are praying, we also need to also be in that place whereby we do the work. Allah has done his part. So the responsibility to now nurture them into whatever it is that they become is in our hands. It is our own role as parents. This is something that is very important. So what do we begin to do? The first thing that we need to do is that we need to have a healthy relationship, and communication with our children. You can't give to your children if you do not, you can't be in that place whereby you influence your children if you do not have a good relationship with them. You can't influence them, except you just want to force them, except you just want to be in the place of control. So there are three things that we are responsible for as parents. There are three things that we're responsible for as parents: the healthy, upbringing of our children, their safety, and their religion and morals. And before all of this, is the relationship. You can't be in that place. Your child will not be safe with you if you do not have a good relationship with that child. So you need to be in that place where you develop an effective communication system with your children. Think about it. You know, it's something we can, like I always tell people, reflection is something that is important for us on our journey. Reflection is very important. If we reflect, we'll always be in that place whereby we'll be able to say, no, this will not work, or this is not working. Let me try something else that is going to work. So you need to develop an effective communication with your children. How can a child who you don't have a relationship with, you are not in that place whereby you talk, it's just this very rigid parenting. Children do not talk with you, you don't talk with them. How can you raise them to be righteous? How can you teach them? Even in the classroom, it said that you need to develop the right relationship with your students, because that's when they will listen to you. If you don't have the right relationship with them, they won't listen to you, even in the classroom, let alone your own children. So you, as the first teacher, you are the one who they are going to learn the deen from. So when your communication is blocked, your relationship is based on just formalities of, as a parent, we provide food, we provide shelter, we provide, what else? What else is the last thing? We provide food, we provide shelter, we pay for them with financial obligations. That's the only thing. It's just on that formalities. There's rigidness, and there's a barrier. They won't communicate with you. And the key is for your child to be safe with you, to be safe with you mentally, to be safe with you emotionally, to be safe with you physically. I came across a particular post yesterday from someone who is well known, on the Facebook community. And the person was saying, yes, I understand the point where the person is coming from. That it is you that you understand that when you yell at your children, it damages their brain, it does this, it does that. And you're not raising your children. We complain so much about the fact that children were abused, but then you are not doing anything. The person just, wrote, and in conclusion, what the person said in conclusion is that if you do not have any method to use, go back to the methods that your parents used. That's method of abuse, because that person actually made mention of it there, that it's abuse. Go back to that abusive method. But the question is, will this abusive method really get us the result that we want? The person made mention of the fact that it is those things that they did then that actually made us not to do some certain things. It didn't make us to become promiscuous. It didn't make us to steal. It didn't make us to take alcohol and all of those things. But the question we want to ask ourselves is that, will that thing, is it working? Let's even ask amidst parents that are here. Do you think that those things are working? Will it get us that result that we want? So it is now very difficult for people to say that we need to learn the right things to do. But we just want to cut corners and go back to what our parents did, even if it damaged us, even if we were abused in the process. So we need to know that our children need to be safe with us mentally. They need to be safe with us emotionally. They need to be safe with us physically. If you are constantly in that place, it just takes reflection, really. If you are constantly in that place whereby any slightest mistake, anything, you are always eating your children, give it time. Those children will just, they will detach from you completely. That's just the truth. And that righteousness that we want to, raise them to become, we will not be able to do it because we do not have that connection to actually be able to do it. So if a child knows that when they come to you, they won't be criticized, they won't be judged, they won't have to face a long lecture and a long list of do's and don'ts, they will come to you. They will share with you their problems. They will share with you their worries. This is something they will definitely do. And I tell people that if we are saying that, okay, these are the things that work, who exactly are we modeling? The Prophet, peace be upon him, was extremely cautious. He was extremely cautious and caring. And he was very attentive during his lifetime. Taking into account the development stage of a child, he took into account their development and their personalities and treated each one accordingly. So as a parent, we need to know that we shouldn't forget that at a point, we were immature also. At a point, we made wrong decisions. Even as adults, we still make wrong decisions. Our brain at one time was still developing also. It's the same thing for our children. So we don't want to be rigid with our approach. Just do it because I said it is either my way or the highway. We won't gain the trust of the children. The only time they will spend with us is when they are still little. You see, the moment they clock 10 and they keep growing like that, that gap is going to be wider. So we need to always remember that our children's brain is also still developing and approach it with care. We need to understand the needs of our children per time. There will be a time in your children's life, and if you do not understand, child psychology, you won't know. You will just feel that your child is stubborn. A time will come in the life of your children around maybe they are 3 years going to 4 years, whereby they will seek autonomy. They just want to do it themselves. And that's why you tell them you wear this clothes. They will tell you, no, I'm not wearing this clothes. They just want that sense of autonomy. But if you don't understand, if you don't know, you will not know. You just tag your children. This child is stubborn. This child does not listen. This child is this child is that. And that's why learning is not something we can take for granted when it comes to raising our children. Whatever it is that we want to teach to them. So you need to understand the needs of your children per time. There will be a time in their lives where they want autonomy. Another time in their life, they want that sense of belonging and identity. When they start to become preteens and teenagers, they want that sense of belonging. They want to know that they belong somewhere. And this is where your connection comes in. If you have given your child that sense of belonging, if they know that they belong to a particular place whereby they are cherished, whereby they are loved, not conditionally, but unconditionally, that need is already satisfied. They will not need to go and look for a sense of belonging in a negative place, in a place whereby what they are going to get is not something that will actually make them to become righteous. So if we understand all of these things, we will know the things to give to our children per time. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, he listened. He listened to Abdullah ibn Abbas, who lived with him. He listened to his opinion. He was always in that place where he listens to his opinion. I heard that it was, when Abdullah bin Abbas was about 12 years at that time with the Prophet, and the Prophet used to listen to his views. He will ask for his opinions just to make him feel that he is important and he has a place amidst them. So are we also taking all of this lesson from the Prophet, and are we also inputting it in our lives with dealing with our children? So he allowed young people to express their views and to be able to ask questions that they liked, even if those questions seem inappropriate. We heard of the story of the Rasul, whereby a young man went to him and the young man told him that he should give him permission to fornicate. You can imagine if your child comes to you today and tells you that, what do you think is going to happen? Hell is going to let loose. You want to be in that place where you just start shouting, because everything is emotions for us. Where did you see that? This and that. Even the Sahaba with the Prophet at that time, they wanted to do the same thing. But the Prophet said, no, don't do this. And he was able to talk to the young boy. He was able to guide that young boy. Why do you want to do this? If you are in that place, the Prophet didn't just lecture, because, I've said it several times that lecturing does not work. Think about it. When you were very young and your parents start lecturing, you just be in that place where you just sit down and you just, what is going through your mind is, it's the same thing for them also. So you don't want to be in that place where you are just listening lectures. What did the Prophet do? The Prophet started asking him reflective questions. You can imagine, if I give you permission to do this, let's now flip it. If the person you want to fornicate it is your mother, will you be happy? Of course, the boy said no. If this person is your sister, would you like it? And the Prophet kept giving him questions to make him think, to make him reflect on whatever it is that he wants to do. So there are strategies to these things. Yes, we want to guide our children. We love them. We want the best for them. But there are strategies to it. There are things that we need to do, and there are things that we do not need to do. I got a case of a child who, did something, and the mother kept asking, who did this? Who did this? And the child was saying, no, it's not me. It's not. He was even pushing it to his sibling. Is this person, is this person. But then when the person brought it to me, after I analyzed whatever it is that was happening amidst them, the mother was saying, oh, really? So that's exactly. And the truth is, we just need to know that knowledge elevates us. Yes, we want to raise righteous children, but on our way of raising righteous children, we might get it wrong, that our righteousness is not something that they will be able to hold on to for a very long time. These are things that we need to do. So he asked him so many reflective questions. The Prophet didn't make a big deal of this question. You can imagine how big for you will a child even be able to come and do that today? You can imagine how big, how extreme that is, that he wants to fornicate. But the Rasul, peace be upon him, was able to deal with this. He took the question, normal question, making sure that nobody talks down on him, making sure that nobody abused him or even called him names. But what did he do? He spoke with him. He asked him reflective questions that made him think about whatever it is that he wanted to do, and that made him to change his mind. Do we have that capacity to do that as parents? Because this is what the Prophet, peace be upon him, has modeled for us. And he's our role model. So if we're thinking of doing anything at all, you want to think about it. Yes, we know the prophets to be excellent. Will he do this? Will he do this? So this is to tell us that, the prophet does not just, he does not just, deal with children as nothing. He deals with them thinking of their future in mind. So you want to think about it. Whatever it is that I'm going to be doing to this child, what kind of psychological effect or self-esteem consequence will happen to that boy or to that child in the long run? And one of the worst things that we can do for our children is to embarrass or, shame them in public. We might not know this because this was how we were raised, but it's something that is very bad. I know that maybe a lot of us will be able to relate to a child didn't do well in class or a child bedwet or something, and you start singing for the child, Olodorabata. This was something that we grew up, not knowing the psychological effect of all of these things on our children, not knowing what it's going to, live in them at the long run. This is something that we really need to, ponder on. We need to think about it. We need to reflect on them. So another thing that he did was that he was able to take that child away from the misbehavior. A lot of the time, when we want to correct the misbehavior of our children, we correct the child. We are not correcting the misbehavior. We are attacking the child. We are not talking about the misbehavior. And don't forget, all of these things actually damages the relationship that we're supposed to build with our children. And once the relationship is damaged, whatever it is that you want to teach to your children is not going to get to them. You won't be able to teach it. It's something that is very, very important. So these are things we want to think of. While we might feel that, we are modeling all of these things, we are praying our 5 daily salawah, we are fasting, we are giving zakah, we have even gone for hajj and all of these things. What are the systems and structures that we're building in our home that will not make our children to just say that, Muslim, let me know, Wasi Oloru coming now. But people will be able to see that, yes, this child is a Muslim. People will be able to see that from their character, from their morals, from the things that they showcase. They are able to also be in that place whereby they are able to lead positively instead of falling into negative peer influence. These are the things we want to look at. So like we said, everything that we've spoken about is important, but then we need to know that walking the talk is equally important. Being in that place whereby we position ourselves as influence will help us to raise children who are outstandingly righteous. Children who are able to impact their world. Children who still carry that identity of Muslims and are still doing exceptionally well. This is something that is very important. We want to be in that place whereby we create something that will benefit the Muslim Ummah in the little way that we can do it. Even if it means volunteering in the schools of our children to say, there's this thing that I want us to talk to our children. Even if it means, organizing it, calling parents together to say, okay, let's organize these things to speak to these children about this thing. These are the things that we want to put in place to be able to raise children who are not just righteous, but children who are righteous and are confident and will not fall prey of any negative, peer influence. And I pray that Allah makes it easy for all of us, right? This is an opportunity again to tell you about TMPC. We've heard about it several times. TMPC is coming up from 24th to 28th of this month, and it is completely free. I got feedback today that they don't know that it's free. I think it's not, it's not stated on the flyer, and that's why people think it's paid. It is free, please. Kindly share it to, share it on your parents group if you belong to anyone that they accept that. Even if they do not accept it, take permission from those who are in charge of that group and share it. Let them come and learn. We have invited, 10 different speakers, 5 male speakers and 5 female speakers to actually come and take us through it. You see, intentional parenting is not, how do I say it? It's not strange to Islam. It is what Islam actually preaches. But we tend to see it as, because so many people are now, they are talking more about it. Those who are not people of the same religion, we feel that it's something that is strange. It is not strange. It is something that the Prophet, peace be upon him, as practice. And we want to let parents also know that this is something that is doable. We want them to know that it is not foreign to Islam. And that's the major reason why TNPC has been put in place. The first edition, if you still want to watch about the first edition, how it looks like and all of that, the whole of the videos are on our YouTube channel. You can go on, watch it, subscribe to it, and enjoy it. But then I assure you that whatever it is that is coming for TNPC 2.0 is definitely going to be better than what we had last year, inshallah. So please don't keep this to yourself. Help us to share this to other parents and let them also come and benefit from this. And I pray that Allah makes it beneficial for everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. We have come to the end of today's live session. Please also, the registration for LLP community is still open. And don't forget, it is once in a year. For those who have registered, please kindly make sure to complete your payments before the beginning of it by 1st of January 2026. It's a one-year program. And like I said, we don't want to run after anybody for payments. We want to focus. You can imagine when a child has not paid his school fees or her school fees and the child is sent out of class. You know how that child is going to feel. Right. And we don't want anything like that. We want everyone to be able to focus on the learning and the implementation, because that is what is very important. That is where we'll get the result. Right. So if you have registered, make sure you pay up before the end of this month. We're going to kickstart, inshallah, by the 1st of January 2026, inshallah. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining me again on today's Friday Live. I really do appreciate it. When next you're coming, please don't come alone. Come with other parents. Let them also come and benefit from this session. And I pray that it's beneficial for you and for your children. Thank you so much for joining me, and have an amazing, amazing weekend. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.